Hi everybody, I'm just going to do a room board and like kind of show you a couple of things along the way. I have done it before, but I've took that video down, so I'm going to redo it now. So I'm going to use my room board and my runes this time. I'll turn it round so you don't have to look at me. So this is my room board. I'll just get it right. So okay guys, now you can see it. I might have to zoom in a little bit here and there, but so that the camera might be moving around here and there kind of thing. But to explain it, all these runes, I look on the board as fixed, and they have loose runes here. And the loose runes that land on them, whichever way they land, I'll try and read them as like movable. Even though like let's say the room for the horse, right? On the board it'd be fixed like as if a horse stood still. Where if it came out here, it'd be the horse like moving. So I'm like trying to read it like that, just so you get the gist of it. Because you would obviously have like runes obviously with friction on the board in anyway. So I'm not going to chant or nothing on this one, guys. I'm just using my own sort of, I'm in the bag, I'm doing it blind. I don't know what runes are in there. I've not placed them or nothing. I'm shuffling them in any way. It's hard to shuffle them, but I'm just going to pick 3 out and drop 3. There'll be 6 altogether, maybe. I'm thinking them 3. Okay, they're all landed. I don't read the Merc stave, guys, so we're not reading them upside down or anything like that. I moved them into place, so that was on gable. That one's on Theros and turn it over. This one's on the blank. I believe that's pronounced stables. I haven't got my sheet with me. I should have my sheet with me. I'm still not 100% on all the pronunciations yet. I'll just be back in a second, guys. I just had to get all the sheets, so I've got the like pronunciations and things. That sunlight's really annoying now, but I need the curtains open, so I'm just going to move the board out the way of that kind of thing. I'm sorry if there's a glare here. I'm trying to cut it off somehow. Hopefully that'll work. Not really. That's a little bit better. So this was to do with our July reading, where it looked like there was some like thorny tanglements going on within society that might sort of create like I could try to compare it to a lockdown sort of situation, but I did say it wouldn't be exactly a lockdown. I've not seen anything like that, so this reading, I'm looking into it as if like, well, is it still going on? What is it if it is still going on? What's changed or anything like that, you know? So we're just going to read it. So the first piece here, which is Theros on the board, Theros on the board, is defensive and it's fixed because it's on the board. It's not a loose piece, okay? That's how we're reading it. So like a fixed defense. Just be a second, guys. I need a pointer. So we have fixed defense up here. I'm just doing this because there's not much going on the screen for you guys, and it's probably a bit boring in a sense. And I was right. Air was. Air was is movable, okay? So we have like here, like a timeless eternity, immortality, path is hard and lonely, there is no end to sight. Death, mysteries. axis of heaven and earth, like as below, so but it's back to front kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Like like below is upside down, and above is upright, back to front to the what's low, if you know what I mean. Below, it's just the way like reflection works. So it's not exactly the same. It's like an opposite, but it's kind of the same. um, so like our movement towards enlightenment, endurance, intuition, protection, or confusion, destruction, dissatisfaction, weakness, death, the wisdom of the world tree, the herbal chakra sometimes gets looked at from how it was, liberation from fear and death, because it sometimes gets classed as a passing over type of thing. Spiritual vision, communication between levels of reality. So you can see that like as below, so above. So like when you're in the material to the spiritual, it's the same but different kind of thing. So like here I'm seeing like obviously like a defensive spiritual wisdom of communications. So maybe it's what was thorny is being blocked, but I don't know yet because I'm just starting the reading. So like just starting, it's starting to kind of look at where it might have been blocked, something different happening, maybe, you know. So we'll carry on to see if it is or not. But here we have Gabo and Isa. Gabo being the piece that's still because it's on the board. So a gift that's kind of always been there, if you like. It's not something that you've just received. It's like always been there because it's like in position on this board. It's not a movable piece. Where this piece is movable. So I'm looking at it like this gift's always been here. Like let's say nature, okay, mind, body, and spirit. It's always been there. Isa. You could say like that. That's always been the stasis of it. It's always been in that stillness of it. It is the backbone of it also. Sometimes Isa gets looked at as the backbone structure of the foundation. Like if you look at this X, it has Isa both ways. If you look at the next rune, it's got Isa. If you look at every rune, it has Isa, so it's like the backbone of every rune in a sense. So it's like the stability. So I would look at that from the way it's reading that it is nature, and it probably is also like man, body, and spirit also on top of that, you know, because like we have the expression of spirituality here, the communication of spirit, like us being able to talk to our ancestors or talk to gods, talk to the fae or the elements, like as below so above is communication from below to above type of thing. So it's kind of telling me that with the gift always being there, you know, I can only like see it, well, what has always been there, mind, body, and spirit, nature are always like prevalent as such. The funny one is this horse. I never count the blank rune, okay? It's not a rune, it's a non-rune. It's only there to show me there's a blind side, a void, a darkness, something unknown, unseen. And I just use it for that purpose only, just so in case like you're wondering why it's there. The sun's getting on my head. It keeps moving. Thing is, if I close the curtains, it'll be too dark. But on this unknown, which is fixed, the unknown's fixed here, so I'm not really sure how to read that bit yet. We have horse, which is movable though, so the horse is, there's like we're able to travel through this unknown, if you like. And it all comes down to trust and teamwork, working with one another, working as a community, you know, like the like-minded people. So I definitely would say it's a change, because I'm like looking at the whole thing, like the whole thing's just changed, you know. We're sort of like nearly halfway through the month. Like I say, I didn't see this like thorny entanglement up to now, so I'm just wondering, is it still yet to come, or has it changed? Because things can change. And it has changed, because that thorn there, the defensive stance, like you could say, like thorns there, like still there, but then all of a sudden they change because of this rune here landing on it, which is spiritual communication, which tells me now that's not. It's got to be more like towards this like defense. It's like communication, spiritual communication is like all about like sort of working like sort of to expose like evils and things like that, you know. So that's why I see it more as defensive. Guys, just wait a second. I'm going to have to put a light on the board and change the lighting kind of thing. Okay, I've kind of closed the curtains because the sun was just going to keep moving across the board. There's no way I could stop it. The lighting's actually not too bad, so from like being like sort of defensive communications into nature, into mind, body and spirit, which is always there. It's always our foundation. We can always return to that. And even though it may be unknown, like in a sense, you know, like because our ancient history is lost to us, so that like spirituality, we do know it, and we do have wisdoms to it, but it's like we don't know everything. So there's unknowns here that are fixed, but because there's a horse here, it can move through this unknown into another place, if you like. But it's just there to show us that you could get through this darkness, the unseen, what may blind you, and we're doing this by banding together as a community, because this is what this rune is. Like, it's working together as a community, also as a horse that's got the power to move us through. So we're not stuck in an unknown. We can get out of this unknown to sort of know our community again, if you like. We know what each other's about. We know each other's follies. We know each other's like abilities also. So I've definitely seen that as a strong thing. So I'm just going to be a couple of seconds pausing the video again. I'll be right back with you guys though. Right guys, what I've done here is I've wrote down the numerology of each rune, the number from 1 to 24, and then I added it all up, which came to 53, which comes back to 8, and as you can see here back on the piece of paper, number 8 goes to one jaw, which is joy. So that's a good sign. Like, so if you like add all these runes up all together, they come to number 8, which is one jaw, okay, which is joy, celebration. So that's a good like thing to see, like overall, like over the, like something that's unseen that you don't like actually seen on the board itself. It's only broken down through the numerology to give us like a backdrop of, oh well, joy's here as well, like in the background of it all. But we've got like a celebration. So like there's definitely like nothing to fear here, you know. So I'm just looking through the ets. I'm trying to see it. I can't see it. Where is it? Oh, there we are. So it's in Fraser's et. We have it there. Wenjo in Fraser's et. Okay. So So she's a Norse goddess linked with creation, fertility, wealth, journey through obstacles, lessons learned. Okay, the runes. So it's like this. There's different like runes that progress through like the basics. So you got Frey's, Haggle's, and TYR. So this is Frasier's et, which is all to do with nature. Excuse me. I shouldn't have. I read off number 2 and I didn't mean to. So this is the rune's progress from the basic needs of life. Okay, Frasier's et, and Frasier is linked with creation and fertility and wealth. Just ignore what I said earlier. That's what they are. Okay, because I read number 2 by accident, which is part of Hegel's et. So like you got the basic needs, which food, air, keeping fit, keeping healthy, your wealth, like they're all your basic needs, and obviously much more as well. Like if you're like up a farm and things like that, it's even better for you. And linked through creation and fertility, wealth, like which is like the same thing, like creation, like birth, which you get through fertility in any way, and wealth is like is your health, your stability. It doesn't have to be about money, guys. As long as you've got stability, it's like the main asset, So I like to see that like one jaw, and it comes within Frasier's et as well, because one jaw is in Frasier's et. But you could also, I'm not doing it here though, guys, but you guys could look at these ets, and there might be more runes that land in these ets, which would tell you something also. Guys, I went ahead and did it in any way. We got 3 from Frasier's, one from Hegel's and one from TYR. So Frasier's came up again, even doing it this way. So even through like the numerology and doing it this way, that they're both landing towards Frasier's. Like so that's like your nature, your wealth, partnership, family. It's even better if you've like got a farm in this way, because like it's like all your cattle, all your fields, everything like that. But if you just live like in a flat like me, like you got little kind of thing, and you might be even like worse off, like me in a sense. You got no family or nothing like that, so you're on your own in it. That's your community, okay? Even if it's just like an online community, like take the little that Frasier gives you here. So I think like looking at it like that, like the whole thing's more positive than when I read it at the beginning of July, where I was being a bit precautious because I wasn't sure exactly if something was really gonna like be there that would tie us down, or if it was just like presented something for us to battle out of, or like give us an opportunity to be even stronger in a way. It's either already happened, and I just don't know what it is. So it's already happened at the beginning of July, and because like with Thuras being there, I kind of have that suspicious like gut feeling that maybe it had, but I'm not 100% sure. But it just speaks more on like that spirituality defense, which is. And then reading the rest just told me like it's not there anymore. We're out of whatever that was, and now we're back in like a energetic build up of like being able to be really spiritual strong. Get out in nature. There's things going on in nature that'll energize us really strong, and horse as well. Like being a nature animal, and we've got to like find our community outside almost in a sense, or like in an unknown in a way. because if it's online, like let's say like we don't know one another, Baron, like like you guys who I actually talked to on Herkunger's radio station, that come over and watch me. I'm really grateful that you do. Like it gives me the inspiration to do this in anywhere. That's like a little community for me, but I'm not always there. I'm not able to go there all the time. But I'm so grateful in anyway. Like even though I wish I could be there more often, but it'd be even nicer if we could just all be like go meet in a cafe kind of thing. I'd rather prefer that than I don't really like being online. Really, in that sense, I don't mind listening to the music. I don't mind typing and all the rest of it. I just sometimes I find it draining to my mental health. Nothing personal towards anybody or anything, because I do enjoy it as well. But that's just like speaking from my own personal experience, because I actually do. I'm actually in a situation where I have no family, I've got no land rights or nothing. But that makes me like a nomad in a sense, a roamer that's able just to roam around if I have to. I can easily go dark because I've got nothing to lose. So for me, like, even though like there's nothing negative here, I'm just like saying, it can make things really easy for me if absolute, like ship comes to pull and we're not having like an opportunity to get out of something. But I don't want to throw any negatives in this like video because it's not really here as such, and I'm just ranting and raving now. So I'm going to let you guys go, otherwise I'll just continue ranting and raving. So I hope you found that interesting. Just in case, like you guys, if you want to continue watching, ranting and raving about the bard, okay, which I've talked about before, but if anyone new has come here, so it just works like a clock. So venue it starts with, that's number 1, that's number 2, and this is a numerology, all in order, and it just works its way around like a clock. This is a non-rune. We don't count the blank, only use it as a facet. Just say there's an unknown there, a blind spot there. A lot of people never ever even use this, but I just chose to use it in any way. It seemed to suit me at the time when I drew out the board, so I've just kind of kept it. So we had I looked at this as the ward, and that was the orlog, like the fixed inner compass, like the inner magician, and that would be the outer. But I don't get any real runes that land on here. It's really awkward to read in anywhere when they do land on here. I should do something better than this, but I can't think of anything. And then, like I said earlier, all the board is fixed. That's how I looked at it to read it, and then the loose pieces that land on it were movable, and it also like give me like more than like drawing 3, as you could see, give me 5 runes, even though I only drawed 3 runes, still give me 5 because of where they landed. But you don't have to do a board like this, guys. You could do it anywhere you want. So for example, there's that one, and that one. If I just move the board up there, up the way for a second. So that's how they landed, right? So imagine, just let me get them in shot. There you go. So imagine, right, you were just doing a reading like that. You just pulled 3 runes. You could still do the numerology. Obviously, it's going to be different numerology now, so I'm not going to do that again, but you see how that works. And then whatever number that lands on in the end will be one of these. It just goes back into another rune. And then if you wanted to, because you've got an extra rune to work with, that gives you like 4 runes, unless it ends up being like a duplicate. But then you've got like the 3 so you got Fraser's number 2 Hegel's. I've just wrote them down. TYRZ. I know I'm not showing you the whole thing, but it's all online, guys. I only copied it off online for free, and it just gives you a basic sort of backdrop. You're not really counting it. It's just like it gives you like a picture behind, because these are like foundations. So it's almost like it's almost like giving you a doorway to where it's like sort of feeling out in nature, or is it like Hegel's hat, which is like journey through obstacles and lessons learned, so it's like different. TYRs is different again, because it's like associated with justice, honor, and spiritual strength. So you get to feel out that like sort of picture behind the foundations, if you like, as well. With the numerology also gives you, can like open up an extra foundation or picture, depending what's like what you're feeling out of that, I suppose. Because I don't want to really dictate to you guys one way or the other, but these are your foundations, like your runes. And sometimes they're hard to read without a picture, so just having that little bit extra backdrop can make it a little bit easier to read. Anyway, that's all I wanted to just like show you, that you could use any method you want. You don't even have to do this one. However you lay them out, whatever you use, you could still use the numerology or the one of the ets. All you do is like I did there. I found that like just marked them as F, F, F. So I was phrases, and two of them that came out different. So the ones that came out the most, which were 3 Fs, told me that it was phrases. So you have to have like one more than the other two type of thing. So you kind of want to draw like odds, if you like, like 3 or 6. I suppose 6 is even, and it's 3 or 5. Sorry, excuse, make it odd. And then you're like more than likely to get like one letter that's leaning more towards one of the others, rather than having, let's say, 2 phrases, 2 hydrils, which wouldn't really help, because you want it to be leaning more towards one, really. Anyway, I'm going to let this video go, and I just hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it, and maybe even made you possibly with a better message than what I gave at the beginning of the month. Bye, guys.